Hello guys, so now we shall be discussing the structures related to the posterior side, the posterior relations of the first part of the duodenum. Okay, so we shall discuss what are the structures that are in the posterior region, the posterior relations. Posterior relations of the first part of duodenum. First part of duodenum. Okay, so what are the posterior relations of the first part? So previously we have discussed the anterior relations of the first part of the duodenum, anterior relations of the first part of the duodenum. Now we shall discuss mainly about the posterior relations of the first part of the duodenum. So first of all, let me draw the duodenum. So here we have got mainly the first part of the duodenum. Now let us see what are the structures are in relation with this first part of the duodenum. Now before I draw, let me also draw the liver so that it would be easy for you to analyze the picture over here. Right. So in this, a few important things you can figure out. First of all, backside of this we have got a vein called as portal vein. Okay. So let us say this is a portal vein. Okay. You see the portal vein that is coming like this. Now this portal vein goes back. Why? Because we are discussing about the posterior relations. So this is the portal vein which is going back. Okay. And then this portal vein comes down like this. And this portal vein gives out two branches. One is called as a splenic vein and the other one is called as a superior mesenteric vein. Now are these branches also we should write down under the posterior relations? No. Especially focus only on this point where what are the structures which I am drawing in the dotted lines are the structures which are called as a posterior relations. Okay. Right. So first thing what we have got the portal vein. And portal vein is dividing into two branches I told you. So one is called as the splenic vein, another one is called as the superior mesenteric vein. So these two branches does not come under the posterior relations of the first part. Okay. Next important thing is that here we have got this is called as the right hepatic duct. You know, this is called as the left hepatic duct. You also know that right and left hepatic duct together they form common hepatic duct. Okay. Right. You know that they form the common hepatic duct over here. Another very important picture you need to understand over here is that, so here exactly we have got our gallbladder. So you know that this is our gallbladder like this. And if you can look at here carefully, even a part of gallbladder is also under the posterior relation, but not complete gallbladder. So if there is a complete gallbladder under the back of the first part, then we can write it down. But it is not completely back, right? Most around 90% is outside the duodenum and only 10% or let us say 5% is posterior to the first part as well as the second part. So we don't take it into consideration, right? So what is this duct over here, which I have already called it as, this is called as common hepatic duct. Now common hepatic duct along with cystic duct together they form common bile duct, all of you know that, right? So common hepatic duct along with the cystic duct like this, they form this particular duct, and this duct which I am drawing right now, this is called as common bile duct. See this one, this is called as your common bile duct, CBD, common bile duct, right? And obviously yes, this common bile duct purely it passes behind the first part of the duodenum like this. Okay, so this is passing behind the first part of the duodenum in this way and draining into the duodenum like this. Okay, and obviously it will join with the pancreatic ducts and all. So don't think directly common bile duct will drain into the duodenum, right? So this is the second important thing. And then coming to what is the third important thing? Third important thing is that all of you know we have got a trunk over here and that is called a celiac trunk, right? Now this celiac trunk will give out a branch, this is called as hepatic artery proper, right? This hepatic artery proper, right, this hepatic artery proper divides into two branches. One is called as a hepatic artery which enters into the liver, right? Another branch which is coming down like this, look again, it is dotted and finally it is coming out like this in this way. and this is called as gastroduodenal artery. So now if I shade these areas clearly, you will understand what are these structures. So this is one area which I'm gonna shade, and let us say this is another green color area which I'm gonna shade over here. Okay, so there are few important structures that are located on the posterior part of the first part of duodenum. So what are these structures? The first important structure here which you need to know is, first of all, let us write down all the labelings and then we shall figure it out. Okay, so this part over here is called as your portal vein. Portal vein. Okay, so this is your portal vein. Portal vein is dividing into two veins. One is called as a splenic vein. Another one is called as your superior mesenteric vein. Splenic vein and the superior mesenteric vein. And here obviously this is the gallbladder. This is the right hepatic duct and this is the left hepatic duct, and this is the common hepatic duct. So this duct over here is called as your cystic duct. Cystic duct. Cystic duct and common hepatic duct, you form the common bile duct over here. And this is your celiac trunk. Celiac trunk is dividing into hepatic artery, and this branch over here you call it as a gastroduodenal artery. Gastroduodenal artery. Now if I have to write it down, what are the structures that are located behind the first part, very clearly here you can understand that portal vein. Look at the portal vein, isn't it located on the back? Yes, portal vein is located on the posterior side. Okay, so portal vein is also one such part. And after that, hepatic artery is located? No. Then what artery? Gastroduodenal artery is located. So what is this artery? This is the gastroduodenal artery that is located on the posterior side. After that, you have got, which again next important thing is cystic duct, right? Cystic duct or common bile duct, that is a common bile duct over here. So what are the three structures that are forming the posterior relations, guys? The first important structure is the gastroduodenal artery. Gastroduodenal artery. Second important structure over here is the common bile duct. Third important thing which you can see here is the portal vein. Portal vein. So these are the structures which are forming the posterior relations, right? So previously anterior relations were formed by all these 6, and here posterior relations are formed only by 3, that is the gastroduodenal artery, common bile duct and the portal vein. So these are the structures which you need to remember regarding the posterior relations of the first part of the duodenum. Thank you so much for watching my video. Goodbye.